Hey there, Wax Packers! Adam coming at you again with another edition of Wax Pack Flashback. We have plenty of nostalgia teed up for you today. I've got my Starfleet communicator pin ready to go in case we have to beam up to the Enterprise. Tell them, transporter room, that we're ready to roll. So Star Trek, right? It's one of those institutions that has not left us, Really, it had its run in the 60s with the original series, disappeared for a while, and then in 1979, what did we get? Yes, none other than Star Trek the Motion Picture. People have been watching it in reruns. People have been enjoying the nostalgia, coming to appreciate it maybe more than its original run. And then the movie was ready to happen. So this was kind of strange because this was a post-Star Wars world. Surely that had something to do with this being greenlit, right? So we're getting it on the big screen. I have like all the original series films on VHS, including the movie here in the special longer cut. I don't need the longer version. I've seen this movie, and I like many more in the series much better than this original outing. Just the uniforms, everything felt not Star Trek, felt generic, felt like it could have done so much more to remind us of the original series. So I bring that up only to say that as we look at these cards, I'm going to definitely be familiar, but not the biggest fan. I mean, it doesn't mean I don't like it, but it just means that that movie in particular was not up my alley. But I'm curious to see what was Topps doing in 1979? I mean, I know they had been releasing cards for quite a while, and movie cards at that, but these, it's so much earlier than anything else that we've opened here on the show, at least that I have participated in here in season 2. So let's get into it and find out how Topps was doing business in 1979. Okay, well, here we are with our pack of Star Trek the Motion Picture trading cards from 1979 by Topps. Just look at that logo there. That is not even the Topps logo we know and love. 1979, this is the earliest pack of cards that I've ever opened here. But here we get 10 movie photo cards, 1 sticker, 1 stick of gum. Now, the back of this pack is what is so interesting to me. So in addition to seeing the 1979, I want to open this up a little bit just so you can see what they're advertising here. The other Topps products, right, which are not cards, but they're telling us all about the candy. Garbage candy, Crunch Lunch, and Munchie Mummies. Now, I've seen the garbage and I've seen the mummy, but I've never seen the Crunchy Lunch. That cracks me up. But try all three. So isn't that neat? I just love Topps of this era, as much a candy company as a cards company. But let's take a look here. I was speaking of the candy. So there are shards of gum. Even that is a little bit more thick, right, than the normal gum that we would get later. Look at that. That's more kind of rectangular. That's interesting. All right. At least not as long a rectangle, long and thin. All right, let's take a look at our cards here. Okay, first off, we have the Enterprise in dry dock. And boy, do they spend a lot of time on this scene in the movie. You get to really admire that model. So, you might as well just stare at the picture for 10 minutes. It's about even. All right, so here we have the classic Star Wars, Star Trek, like all the different series that they produced where you could assemble the pieces on the back to make a puzzle picture. So there's that. Oh, there she is, Persis Kimbata, the world's most attractive bald woman at this time, right? So you get a supermodel and you give her some a nice bald cap, and there she is doing her best Yul Brynner impression there. So okay, nice. Let's take a look at here. This feels like a lot of cards. I don't know why 10 cards feels like a lot, but it does. So here is the bridge, the Starship Under Attack. Okay, so but it's kind of interesting here. It looks a little stark, like people are kind of in holding their hands up, but it doesn't look too action-packed, does it? Oh, now here is someone we love to see as often as we can, Scotty. Mr. Scott. This is Scotty's domain. Gotta love the mustache and everything going on here. But as you look here, it really doesn't scream Star Trek, does it? You get the little Starfleet insignia right there. But ultimately, this could have been any space-related movie from the late 70s. Okay, here we go again, another beauty shot there of the USS Enterprise. So that is wonderful to see it, actually in action. The dry dock where it's just sitting there, there's not much to get excited about. Okay, here's got some black space, the blackness of space. Now, I don't even remember Nurse Chapel, who is now Dr. Christine Chapel in this movie, but I didn't even recall her from the film. So that's interesting. And then, who is this? Again, like, there's a lot of stuff in here that was just off the wall. Didn't quite feel as Star Trek as maybe The Black Hole or Space 1999 or one of those other productions at the time. Okay, finally, we have some text on the back. So Robert Wise, the director, directing Paramount's new science fiction epic is Robert Wise, one of the most respected artists in the business. Wise became a double Oscar winner twice, both as Best Director and as producer of the year's Best Picture for two films that have become recognized as classics, West Side Story and The Sound of Music. He also helmed the often praised science fiction film of 1951, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Well, that last one makes sense, but the guy who directs these, beautiful and wonderful and, celebrated musicals is your guide to do Star Trek. See, there I go again. See, you gotta get more Persis Kimbada. The last one was the Delta Beauty. Now we have just the woman from Planet Delta, but got a little bit of a short skirt there. Those aliens, they're not quite, as concerned with those things. Now, why are we learning about Nichelle Nichols on the back of a Persis Kimbada card? Nichelle Nichols, known to video buffs as Video buffs? That's interesting. As communications officer, Uhura began her career as a nightclub singer and dancer, then progressed to the stage and motion pictures. With Star Trek, she also became a dedicated student of space and the world around us, an involvement that led her into playing an important part in the U.S. space program with a campaign to recruit women and minorities as future astronauts. And rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols, who we just lost recently. But that is a strange choice there, right? They're just like, we'll just put the facts anywhere. And now look at this one, the Klingon warship. That is a pretty cool looking model. I'll give it that. I do like that style to it. Very Star Wars. Maybe, I don't know how much of an update that is from the original series look, but that's pretty nice. All right, here's our last main card here. There is the crew, right? The holy trinity of Star Trek, the final frontiersmen. Get Spock, Kirk, and Bones. And again, I mean, that's who you came to see. That's who you wanted. And fairly recognizable here. Oh, there's our Starfleet insignia on the back. All right. But who was our sticker? Oh, my. Yes, we get George Takei. Wonderful Sulu here. Gotta love it. What's on the back of these? So really, almost all of these are to make puzzles, only some of them have details about the characters, but that is a very intense look. He is ready to stare into the future. I do love, this border around him, though. That's super trippy with, the neon pink. All right, well, let's close this thing out, find out what my favorite card was. All right, so that was a pretty interesting pack of cards, if nothing else, just for the history of Topps, right? Looking at that old logo, I always thought the blocky letters was there, since time immemorial, the look of Topps, right? But not the case. Also, the purple packaging here on the Wax Pack, the size of the gum, and then also, the advertisements for the candy back there. There was so much that I learned about Topps just in studying the pack there. But the other thing, too, just looking at the cards, how dedicated they were to the puzzle feature, and then the fact that they didn't match up, the bios with the character cards. There wasn't that much attention paid to it. Plenty of Persis Kimbada. It would have helped to have a bio on one of those cards we got, because otherwise you're just seeing this bald alien woman that you have not seen because she's not part of the original crew and cast. But hey, as far as the cards, I mean, I really thought the Sulu sticker, just with the pink border and the blue and everything, was really trippy and fun, but can't beat having the original crew, the core members, right? So it was very cool to see Spock, Kirk, and Bones together, so I'm glad to have that. Now, speaking of Star Trek, I just want to mention to you, if you're looking for some more content, my best friend, dyed-in-the-wool Star Trek fan, we've been talking about it for, the 20-plus years that we've been buddies, but he has a podcast called the Trekology Podcast, so I recommend that you find Trekology on Apple Podcasts or wherever you find, it's just nice guys on Star Trek is what I call it. They'll talk about, technology in Star Trek, or religion in Star Trek, or women in Star Trek, but they kind of expand it to the philosophy that is being, expressed through the stories, but then what does it mean to our larger world? It's just kind of interesting. Something to check out if you're looking for something different that's not an episode by episode or full movie review podcast. Of course, though, stay tuned here to TRN TV and be subscribed if you're not already. Make sure that you're also following the Retro Network on at TRN Social on Twitter and Instagram. As far as if you want to find what I'm doing, what I'm adding to my memorabilia and nostalgic collections, you can find me at Hoju Coolander. But our next pack of cards, just to give you a little preview here, is something special. From the 90s, we're going to look at Gargoyles. Ooh, an animated series by Disney trying to tap into some of the darker adventure and fun. So, until next time, we'll check you later.